What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp, managing editor of Fightful.com, FightfulWrestling.com, and of course, FightfulSelect.com. Head over there. Check out our premium Fightful service where you can get additional podcasts, dark match commentary, Q&A shows, just all kinds of stuff. Head over there. We're shipping out some of our first rewards as we speak. Actually, well, not as we speak, this afternoon. But a little programming note. This Saturday, I'll be giving you all a free preview of Fightful Select, as the Fightful Select Weekender podcast will be free on Saturday. I do this about once a month as a preview of the service, and with Dominion on Saturday, I'll be covering that. I'll talk the Super Junior Finals, Ring of Honor, NXT, 205 Live, Impact, basically everything non-Raw and SmackDown. Lots of cool stuff on Fightful Select, and I'm really excited to give you all this preview on Saturday. Our retro review launched. Myself and Mr. Warren Hayes covered Great American Bash 1996. That was a blast. Very much looking forward to having him on these retro reviews. Hopefully for the foreseeable future. He did a great job, and it was a lot of fun. Also, on Fightful Select, Jimmy Van's match archive. We did commentary over top of a Bobby Roode tag team match from 2001, and Jimmy Van has a lot of interesting stories about these wrestlers that he would bring in, and either they had already made it big or they were about to make it big. So check that out as well. I also had a talk with Steven Muehlhausen, who was live at the courthouse today for CM Punk's court case. We'll be there for tomorrow's closing arguments as well. This show, however, brought to you by omgi.com. If you've never heard of ghee, which I hadn't until about 2 weeks ago, it is an awesome, not even an alternative to butter. It's what I use instead of butter now. I was able to get some of this stuff at omgi.com. That's omghee.com. And it is delicious. It set off some pork chops that I had today like crazy. It's got some healthy fats. It's got your omega-3s, your omega-9s. It's got vitamin A, D, E, and K. It's got a lot of great stuff in it. It's what you'll see a lot of athletes using. You'll see a lot of top nutritionists using this. Go check it out. Let the people at OMG know that you heard about it from us. You can follow them at OMG Butter on Twitter. Show them some love, because that means you're showing us some love too. So definitely go check them out. I am joined tonight by one Alexander Pawlowski, and I'll go ahead and get it out of the way. Tonight, WWE Monday Night Raw hit us right in the penis.
Yep. That they did. My penis is bruised. That's how hard they hit us in it.
Well, before we get into that, there was a court case that started last week. Have you followed along with the CM Punk deal?
Not as close as I probably should have. I just got back from a little vacay with the fam, and was kind of, well, there's no service at the cabin where we were, so I really wasn't following along, and I kind of had to get all caught up with a lot of stuff today and kind of missed out on it.
There's some interesting stuff over there. We have the notes on Fightful.com. Steve Muehlhausen was there. They had testimony from AJ Lee, from CM Punk's massage therapist, who saw the lump from Lumpgate. This lump is going crazy, Alex. He did confess that I don't think he got it diagnosed as a staph infection.
Yeah.
However, it was also revealed that Chris Amon may have violated HIPAA laws by sending a cease and desist letter to Colt Cabana, in which featured some of CM Punk's privileged information.
Yep, that sounds about right.
The guy suing for defamation, who also may have gotten a promotion shortly after this podcast dropped, has basically said, "You ruined my Thanksgiving." Man, I'm filing suit against at least one of my relatives, because there's always at least one that ruins Thanksgiving.
Please do.
If that's the way that you build your case,
yeah.
Oh boy, I didn't realize how much of an uphill battle this is going to be for Chris Amon.
Yeah.
Until I started to hear some of this testimony that came out. Man, of course, we're going to have more on that. I will have a live call with Steve Muehlhausen after closing arguments tomorrow. Keep in mind, CM Punk fights this Saturday in this same city at UFC 225. He's got to have a weight cut this week. By the way, Holy Smokes MMA podcast, 3 p.m. Eastern, Tuesday. We got Colby Covington on the show. Lots of pros picks. And then the night of UFC 225, myself and James Lynch will be live. I am filming shows all week long. I have like 8 or 9 shows if you include the stuff with Steve. So let me tell you, I'm way more excited to talk about that than I am about the shit that I'm about to talk about right now.
Yep.
WWE Monday Night Raw, June 4th. There were some funny script notes that I'll hit you all with too. You all can check those out in full in the weekly, or the full script is over at FightfulSelect.com right now. And I'm just trying to plug shit so I don't have to talk about the actual show. To be fair, I thought the show kicked off fairly well. Elias comes out. You know, he's kicking off the show. That's cool. You know he's getting interrupted, Alex.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
He's always getting interrupted.
Yeah. No, it's not possible for him to not be interrupted. I mean, I wonder what's the first thing that's going to happen. And honestly, after tonight, I think we know the answer. Will Elias get through a whole song without being interrupted before Curtis Hawkins wins a match? And I think we now know that it probably is going to be the second one that happens first. Because what they're doing with that story.
This show, by the way, titled Believe. So the B team getting some love. That kind of telegraphed the victory for me there. But even the interruptions are getting interrupted. Jinder Mahal, Roman Reigns come out, and you know we've got a tag team match.
Yeah, this was stupid. Like when Seth Rollins going to the coming down, he gets the equalizer, not Denzel Washington, but a chair, and he stands there with the chair, and he gets in the ring, and they have a face-off, chair versus a guitar. And you know, from the way they were doing it, they expected the crowd to be totally into it. But they were like, is one of you going to swing your weapon or nah? Because this is getting kind of boring. Because they were standing there for like 15 seconds doing nothing, and the crowd was like not into it. So eventually they swing and hit stuff, and like, yes, the chair is harder than the guitar. So
as it turns out, yes.
And then, Jinder comes out because Jinder, and Roman comes out because Roman. And then Kurt Angle comes out. And here's the thing. I think if any general manager, no matter who it is, comes out in such an obvious, whoa, we're going to have a tag team match here instead of this brawl, they should come out to Teddy Long's music. It should be like this memorial thing. Like, we all know what's happening here. Let's just do it. Why not? Because this was so obvious from the very
beginning. Or have like a Teddy Long button where as soon as you hit it, tag team match. There you go.
Yep, that's it.
They need that for Madison Square Garden, too, because you know someone is going to go one-on-one with The Undertaker.
Yeah, that's right.
It's going to happen. This very much seemed like we have their money, save it for the Pape match.
Yep.
There wasn't a lot special. The crowd loves it and went bananas, so I can't really blame the guys in the ring for working that kind of match. I am going to mention the Falcon Arrow because it's great. And outside of, man, I forgot how terrible David Otunga was on commentary.
Yeah.
Nothing that he says I buy at all.
I missed the beginning where they said why he was there. I'm assuming Coachman just had the week off and wasn't fired for cause. But, I mean, like, I love they're like, David Otunga going to film this movie where he's a big action star now. A, the movie hasn't come out yet. That was like 2 years ago. And B, actually, what you should have said was, we're getting David Otunga as far away from a commentary booth as we possibly can because we, like you, realize that he is horrible. And no, the occasional guest starring role back on the commentary desk does nothing to improve his abilities therein.
It's not often that a man's first acting role is his defining acting role. And his brief existence in The Call was his best acting role.
Yeah.
He was so bad. Like, I don't buy anything he says. Like, there's nothing noble about going after Seth Rollins' neck while it's injured. I'm like, would you shut up? Would you stop it? Cut it out.
Weren't you a part of the Nexus, dude?
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure you guys did worse than just going after an injured body part.
By the way, they do bring up Seth Rollins' neck, and I do like that they bring that up because that is a story that is played throughout this match and will be played through the next 2 weeks. There's a drive-by and a super kick, but Sunil Singh gets involved. Rollins has a suicide dive and hurts his neck there. Catches Singh trying to use a chair and takes it away. And for some reason, he drags it into the ring, but gets DDT'd on it immediately. Don't know why that's not a DQ.
Nope.
Maybe it's because Rollins brought it in, and it just happened to be there. That I could buy.
Yeah.
But Rollins gets pinned after drift away. I love the storytelling of Rollins' neck. That was really cool. Glad Elias got the win. That was fun. I mean, it was just a there match until the end, honestly.
Yeah. The thing with me that I hated the most was when Rollins is setting up for, the not curb stomp. Michael Cole's like, oh, he's setting up for the move known as the stomp. I'm like, you guys have actually named it that? It's not just a thing that
Kirk
you say.
Franklin give them permission? I don't think so. You can't just do that.
You can't. I mean, I thought it was just a thing that they were saying as a placeholder. Like, it's basically, that's basically what it is when you say the stomp. Like you say the knee. I thought they were figuring out what it was going to be called, but no, it's just going to be called the stomp, which is stupid.
Our friends at Pro Wrestling Unlimited, by the way, check them out. Subscribe to them on YouTube. They say that Coach was on assignment. In reality, he was covering the World Long Drive Golf Championship on the Golf Channel. So good for him. Apparently, that's a better payday. So, I like the storytelling here. This should have been the first thing that led to Baron Corbin becoming the Constable.
Yes.
He should have had noble intentions, I think, in starting this up. But later on, there is this miserable back and forth between Jinder Mahal and Roman Reigns, who are on different ends of the arena. Now,
yes,
as this show goes on, I am in a chat with Pat Fannin and Andrew Thompson, a couple of our writers who call out stories while this is going on. And Pat said they literally scripted Roman Reigns to say, yeah, well, I know where you are. And then he walks the wrong way and asks somebody where Jinder is. What? Why? They can't even point him in the right direction.
They here's the thing. I really wish that they were a little bit more self-aware and could poke fun at themselves occasionally, because how great would it have been if when Roman Reigns is walking through the backstage area looking for Jinder, he's like, hey, have you seen Jinder? And all of a sudden you hear, I'm up here, Roman. And he turns around and he's like standing up on like some scaffolding.
I think we're the only ones who get that joke, and people who watch our show.
Everyone who saw that promo knows how terrible that was.
There's a solid 10 to 15,000 people who get that joke. I don't know how many of them would be in attendance, but Reigns kicks the living shit out of Jinder Mahal.
Sure.
Every week, Jinder Mahal seems more like a baby face. I mean, Singh seems like a heel, but Jinder seems like he's the fiery baby face. I mean, yeah. I am very excited for Rollins and Elias, though. I can't wait for that.
That's going to be a really great match. I hope. Gosh, the part of me is like, well, if they take the title off of Rollins and put it on Elias, that's cool for Elias, and it might mean that they're ready to pull the trigger on a Rollins versus Roman program heading into SummerSlam. Because you don't need the belts for that. It kind of just clogs up that program, actually. But the other part of me is like, no, I need more Rollins giving out, challenges, because there's so many great guys who need to answer it. Like, give me a Chad Gable versus Seth Rollins open challenge.
I would love that.
Puts him to his limit for 15 minutes. God,
I think that could be the Neville John Cena of Rollins open challenges.
Yeah.
There are a bunch of tacos and shit at ringside. Kurt Hawkins has a jobber to face him for what he hopes is not his 200th loss.
Uh-huh.
Now, funny story. They're in Houston, and the jobber's name is James Harden for a cheap pop. On the production script, which you all can see by subscribing to FightfulSelect.com, the name was supposed to be Steph Curry. So they changed it for some reason, probably because they didn't know what they were doing.
Right. Somebody came up with it who doesn't know basketball. And or doesn't understand what they were trying to do. Like, hey, it'll be great. They'll cheer for Kurt Hawkins because he's beating up the guy who ended their team's season. But I guess that's not what they wanted.
I don't know what they want. I don't know if he's a face or a heel.
They still wanted him to be booed, so he's beating up James Harden, who, let's be honest, because of his poor play in Game 7, kind of cost their team the championship.
I would have loved if he crossed up Kurt Hawkins and then stared at him as he fell down. That would have been really funny. If
that guy had nailed a Euro step layup, man, it would have been perfect.
Like, that's how he hits the ropes. He does a Euro step into the ropes. Oh, it's sad that we have to pretend that this stuff happened because it's way more fun than what actually did.
Basketball jokes.
Yeah. So Harden gets his ass kicked, but Baron Corbin comes out and just hits the end of days on him to get him DQ'd, which I thought was hilarious.
That was great. That was so
Baron
good.
Corbin was the best thing about this show.
He absolutely was, and I'm so happy for his new role on this show.
Me too. I'm stoked for it. 200 losses in a row for Hawkins. Corbin then throws Hawkins into the tacos. Backstage, Corbin says that he went to WWE HQ. Went all the way there to Stamford.
Yeah.
And Stephanie McMahon has named Corbin a constable.
Yep.
Now, I just want to say, in my town, when I was a teenager, rent-a-cop, constable. Like, he's one step away from being day-day on next Friday, top flight security. But apparently he has some stroke.
Well, he's the guy who's I love the idea of I'm not your boss. I'm your boss's snitch.
Yeah.
Like, that's a great thing. So he can just lord it over. Like, he can't make Kurt Angle do anything, but he can passive aggressively get him to consider stuff.
Oh, I would love a snitch gimmick. Like they refer to the head of USADA, Jeff Nowitzki. Brendan Schaub always calls him the golden snitch because, he's got to break the news to you when you fail a drug test. And obviously I'm pretty sure it's a Harry Potter trademark or something, but I would love a snitch gimmick. I always liked Just Joe, the brief amount of time that he was there, where he just stirred shit up. And really, I thought that's what Corey Graves is going to do for a while. I thought Corey Graves is going to be the journalist who stirs shit up backstage, and that would have been great for everybody involved. Yeah. It's an easy way to start a storyline. That way you don't have to say, your sisters aren't real and you didn't serve in the military.
Oh, God. Oh, God, please. Let's just skip that entire storyline when we get to it.
Also, in between segments, I want to thank people over at Premier MMA Championship for having me. I called some action there the other night. It was on Fight. I want to thank everybody for their kind words for my commentary work. That was a blast. I'll be back there in a couple of months in Covington, Kentucky. So check that out. It's on the Fight app. It'll air on Spectrum Sports as well. Wanted to bring that up before this show went even further downhill. Ronda Rousey was on commentary, and man, it was really bad. She hit this right for the picking line twice.
It was weird. She did it, and then they went to commercial, and then Graves gave her the exact same setup, to which she replied with the exact same joke or line or whatever.
They did a live reshoot for a line.
So weird. I didn't understand that. This weird thing is that the best and the worst of Ronda Rousey came out on the mic, came out during this thing. That weird little thing about only my husband can call me ripe for the picking, which is weird. That wasn't good. But her whole thing of so hey, Natalya's in there attempting judo throws on Nia and it's not working. What's to say that it's going to be any better for you? 2 Olympics. Like, that's great.
That's all she needed to say.
That's absolutely true, because I believe that Natalya is not as good at judo as Ronda Rousey is. And for her to just come out and say it, that's great. I also love, like, was like, well, what are you going to do if she gets if you headbutts you like that? What are you going to do? Are you going to be ready for it? I guess I just got to be ready for it. I'm not going to go in there and practice taking
She
headbutts.
should have done the Harley Race, where Bruce Pritchard always tells a story where he says, "What's your finish, kid?" And they tell him, "I'll move." One of those. Harley Race, the same guy who CM Punk says that he found like $10,000 checks collecting dust underneath his couches. But this match is the shits. It's not good. It's not bad. Natalya dropped Nia with a discus clothesline. Natty is hurt, and Nia drops over the Samoan drop, scores the pin. Nia pretending to be concerned about Natalya is some of the worst acting I've ever seen.
That's the whole thing, is that I don't think she was supposed to be pretending to be concerned about her. Like, she and Natty have a relationship from Total Divas. Like,
they were together all weekend.
Yeah, they're friendly. They're friendly.
They should have played that up.
Like,
it was all over their social media.
Right.
They choreographed a goddamn dance together this weekend.
Exactly. So I actually like the idea of, like, I have no beef with Natalya. She's my friend.
Nobody has beef. They got rid of all the goddamn tacos.
That's true. But I like the idea of, I'm not angry at her. I'm friends with her. I don't like you, Ronda. Like, that's different. I like that they're like that Natalya, quote unquote, is a babyface now, and Nia Jax, who used to be a babyface 2 weeks ago, is now a heel. But they can still be friends, and they had a match, and Nia won the match because Natalya somehow sprained her knee while falling 6 inches.
I mean, it can happen. I mean, to be honest with you, from what I know about knees, like, legitimately, men tend to tear their ACLs with contact injuries.
Right.
Women tear it with non-contact. Yeah, it can happen.
Sure. I don't believe that Natalya did it in that move, because she didn't sell it until she hit the ropes. Yeah, it was bad. But I think it's really actually interesting from a character standpoint for Ronda to be incredibly protective of, like, her one real friend in storyline. I like that a lot. I don't know if it's going to lead anywhere, but I like that there's a gray area that both Nia and Ronda are friends with Natalya. Like, I think that's interesting. It never gets shown in particularly in the women's division, where everyone just is catty to each other no matter what.
So yeah, the Ronda thing, she was like mad that Nia was checking on her. Maybe, and I mean, if Ronda would have explained, you didn't have to hit her with a Samoan drop, whatever.
Right, sure.
And that would make sense, because, I mean, maybe Ronda's a little new to this. And then that would explain Nia backstage saying, this ain't ballet. Because backstage, Natalya's trying to put weight on her knee. Rousey doesn't like that Nia's checking on Natalya again. And Natty plays the mediator and says that she needs her time. Mm-hmm. Now, this was shitty. That was bad. It was dumb. Right. What I'll ask you is, do you think this plays into Money in the Bank? Do you think they'll run it? Do you think they'll run a thing where she can't go at Money in the Bank?
Yes.
And maybe Bayley replaces her?
Bayley's getting in that match.
Yeah.
I think they're going to do a Bayley versus Ruby Riott thing or something like that.
Ruby's in, right?
No, she's not.
She's not.
No, she lost. She was in the gauntlet match last week and lost to Sasha. Sasha's in because Ruby's not.
So that would be like Ruby's third time losing qualifying match.
Here's the thing. I honestly feel like Ruby versus Bayley should go, and Sasha should attempt to help Bayley and fail, and Ruby wins. And now Bayley's pissed at Sasha again, because stop teasing us with this, like, oh, they're friends again. We know you're building to a match between them.
Yeah.
Just do it already, you know?
Whoo boy. Braun Strowman defeated Bobby Roode. Bobby Roode didn't say a damn thing in that interview. Like, he said a whole lot of nothing and then glorious. That was it.
Yeah, well, I liked the part where he was like, it's going to be glorious. Pause. And Renee's like, yeah, So thanks for that. Anyway, how about this match? You're gonna like that's so good because all he is a damn catchphrase. And once you like strip that from him, he's a guy in a robe.
I just want to say there have been times when I've interviewed people and I've asked them a question and they don't answer the question and they try to set me up to ask the next question. And I'm like, no, but what about the question that I just asked? Can we get to that one first?
No.
Before we do the other stuff. Roode kicks Braun, gets free fall DDT'd on a glorious DDT attempt, or just free fall dropped. Then Braun Strowman, it's a double underhook suplex, just like my boy Billy Robinson used to. That was actually very impressive.
I've never seen Braun do that before, and that was pretty awesome. I love that this guy finds new things to do. They just like they're like, okay, you got to do the thing where you run into the post. He's like, okay, but if I have to do that, can I also do a double underhook suplex? And they're like, sure, kid, you do that too. Like he's finding new things to do, and I love it.
New things like hitting the ring post.
I know. That's the one thing. That's the thing that he has to do every match, and this is like he's like, well, if I have to do that, can I do this instead? So.
Somebody says, SRS, do you know anything about WWE trying to offer contracts to contracted talent? Do I ever? Myself and Jimmy Van had fight of the century about it last week.
That was uncomfortable. I was watching. I was like, oh no. I was like watching your parents have it. Like, oh my God, you guys going to get a divorce? Is it my fault?
I can't imagine how Nigel and Melissa felt. Like Nigel, our producer, is like coaching Melissa, one of our coworkers, on how to produce the show, because I think he might be out this weekend. So they were just sitting there uncomfortably as we're yelling at each other, calling each other idiots and morons. And I could tell Jimmy thought that I was bothered by it, but I was like, man, this is pretty good. It's just one of those things you're like, this is a lot of fun. Let's go with this. But yeah, that's a fun talk. Head over there. I'm sure we'll follow up on it to some degree on Listen Your Boy Wednesday. Oh boy. So Bobby Roode sets up a ladder, and for some reason, he slides under this ladder, and he's like, ha ha! Okay, now, first off, it's like, oh, how's he going to get around this one? It's like, what's that movie, Wet Hot American Summer, where there's the chase, and there's like this road cone or something, and they're staring at it in the middle of the road, and they're like, how will we get around this? Braun could have slid it in the ring, first off.
Sure.
But doing what Braun does, he opts to Donkey Kong it, which leads to probably the single greatest moment in Bobby Roode's main roster run, a fantastic facial expression.
Yep.
It was awesome.
It was great. I think his plan was, like, because here's the thing that Braun does in every match as well. Now he chases people around the ring, possibly running into them and knocking them over. So Roode expects that, and it thinks if he slides under the ladder, then Braun will just run into it and be somehow incapacitated by hitting a ladder at, belly button high. But Braun stops, and Roode's next plan is to be like, taunt him in front of the ladder. And I thought to myself, oh, he's just going to pick up that ladder and throw it at Bobby. But instead, he when he raised his arms up in the Braun thing, I was like, oh no, that poor ladder, because he just smashes it down. And I think to myself, like, I know that's a rigged ladder or whatever, but still, like, the bones underneath like the shin of your arm, just across whatever ladder, that can't have felt great.
You mean your forearm?
Well, yeah, but I think of full form as like the meat up here, but like just the actual bone, like that's never good when you get hit in that. So, yeah.
Power slam, pin. This is the most entertained I've been by Bobby Roode on the main roster.
Yes, absolutely. This is one of those things where I was watching that going, when the moment happened with the ladder, I was like, man, if they're giving this away for free 2 weeks before Money in the Bank, like that could have been a spot 12 minutes into Money in the Bank where it would have been a huge pop, like it was tonight. But like, so if that's getting given away for free now, like the stuff they're planning with Braun has got to be out of this world.
I think that's their in their mind, that type of thing might make up for the lackluster show. Like, oh, they got a moment. They got a moment.
That's the thing.
That's what
Vince
they do.
Always books towards moments and not
It
towards, lasting storylines. That's what they say.
The person who brought up the contract thing said, I mean MLW. Yeah, head over to FightfulWrestling.com, click our exclusive section. I talked to Court Bauer, the owner of MLW, about that about a week and a half ago. It was in the weekly, too. Read the weekly, guys. It's got exclusives in it every week. Stuff you won't hear anywhere else except for Fightful and Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Top Contender Battle Royal. Authors of Pain are nowhere to be seen.
Okay, so someone's going to have to explain to me, like, not only like where they are, but like why they are. Why are they here? Like, you got Drew and Dolph in this match, and they weren't at the cookout last week. So we know people who weren't at the cookout can be in this match. But then again, if your whole plot is to put the B team over and give them a shot at the titles versus, Bray and Matt, then why are Drew and Dolph even in this match to go out first? Like, we can talk about this whole match, but if you have Drew and Dolph in and they're the last two in there besides the B team, then you actually have drama. Once it's the B team and Slater and Rhino, we all know who's going to win. The Battle Royal was just badly booked.
Yep, I agree. This has been such a nothing tag team run for Hardy and Wyatt. They cut a pretty long promo that eventually the crowd gets into, but they've had nothing.
That's the whole thing. It was so weird. I was like, when Bray was doing his promo, it was hitting all of his old Bray stuff. It's like, these two don't realize they're going to be in the ring with a couple of gods. I'm like, oh, no. That was the thing. That was who you were before the Lake of Reincarnation. So did the Lake of Reincarnation just make you Matt's friend? I thought it changed who you were fundamentally. I mean, I know you dressed the same, got all the same moveset, but I thought it took away that part of you that believed you were a god, because that was Sister Abigail within you, corrupting your soul. And I thought the Lake of Reincarnation banished her to another dimension, whatever the hell Matt does with his lake. But this was just Bray Wyatt doing Bray Wyatt crap. And it made me sad, because I was hoping they were going to do something where it wasn't that anymore. But it was totally that.
I look back over the last 8 years specifically, and there are dozens of guys that at the very least looked like they could have had a short run with the title, or at the very least main evented a pay-per-view as a challenger for a title. Yeah. And I just look at them and I'm like, man, they marginalize so many people.
They really do.
If you all want to see something, like, go back and be like, wow, I kind of forgot about that. I'm not a big Ryback guy, but look at the reaction he got when he helped out Vince McMahon against CM Punk.
Yeah.
I was like, my God, that guy was red hot at that time, because they booked that right for that moment. And there's so many of these people, like, they had a character in Bray Wyatt. It's real hard to make that supernatural character these days and make it believable. And I thought that they've had a couple gimmicks that they completely wasted. They had the Bray Wyatt thing where you're just a creepy horror movie character. And they had Sami Callihan as a hacker, which, I mean, you want to turn the lights out, he can physically turn the lights out with a damn phone or something. Like, you've got a way that you can do these things, but make it a little more realistic. I don't understand some of it. I don't get it. And then you see something like what they put out on Harper this past weekend, before they were in WWE thing. And I'm like, why aren't any of these ever on WWE programming? And some people will go, oh, well, man, you don't want them to sympathize with a heel. I don't care. I want them to identify with somebody, face, heel, whatever. Just let them identify, good, bad, or indifferent. Because I guarantee you that if you did one of those videos on Baron Corbin, he would go out of his way to be the biggest dick he possibly could because he knows that's the way he can maximize his minutes.
Yeah.
I just think there is a gross injustice done to so many of these people creatively. Anyway, Dolph Ziggler gets super kicked out of the Battle Royal by Breeze, and then McIntyre beats the shit out of everyone. They hit their finish on Bo Dallas. Coming back from commercial, Fandango eliminates Connor, then the Revival chuck out Fandango. Rhino eliminates Dash Wilder, and after all these eliminations happen, the other guy has to awkwardly, like, leave.
Yeah, I don't like that rule. I always hate that
about tag team battle royals.
Well, the whole thing is you don't have to do it that way. I've actually seen in WWE where both members of the tag team have to be eliminated in order for the team to be eliminated. I've seen them do it that way. They just decide to do it one way or the other depending on what they want to do. Whereas, like, if Dolph gets eliminated first and Drew lasts for the rest of the Rumble, or the rest of the Battle Royal, that's a cool story. Like, where Drew, like, single-handedly just wrecks everybody. And Dolph can come out and be like, yeah, that was me. I did that. And that's a fun little gag for him to be like the guy who's on the coattails of his bigger compatriot. But in this case, Dolph gets eliminated first, and then Drew's like, now I am angry, Scotsman, and I will beat you up. But it means nothing. And you kind of nerfed this amazing momentum these two guys had. If they weren't going to win, they shouldn't have been in this match. You are muted.
It didn't seem that difficult to have these two guys say, especially, we shouldn't have to go through all these people. We should have this already.
Yeah.
B Team, Slater, and Rhino. Slater fires up pretty well, but accidentally knocks Rhino off the apron. B Team are getting a title shot. All right.
B Team have merch.
They do. They do. And of course, they had to put some shit on the back.
Yeah, they did.
They had to. You couldn't just have the B. You had to have it on the back say, the B stands for best.
Which I'm pretty sure Bo said at some point, but
he did, but
yeah, I know. I agree. Here's the thing. What I love about this is that if any of you out there pay $30 for this thing, instead of finding an old white t-shirt in your house and a Sharpie and making this exact shirt yourself, you're the biggest sucker in the world. By the way, this terrible Sharpie drawn shirt looks so much better than the Miz shirt and whatever. Who are the other ones that have been so terrible recently? Like there's just block lettering and a weird.
Some bad ones. There have been some bad ones. I will say that there have been some better ones too. Like the Finn Balor shirt, I think is a good design.
Yeah.
WWE's constant need to put shit on the back of their shirts drives a lot of people away. Also, the fabric is terrible.
Yeah.
Mother of God. It's bad.
Yeah.
It's so bad. Also, that tag they throw in at the bottom, man, wouldn't be caught dead in a lot of that stuff. That's why instead I just go to prowrestlingtees.com/Fightful and I buy some of the awesome shirts there. Man, you can still get a point at the fucking signed shirt.
Yeah.
WrestleMania is happening again next year. Go ahead and get it. Get them while they're hot.
Here's the thing. I guarantee you, even next year, they're still going to point at the fucking sign.
Especially her. She's gonna. She's gonna. So let's talk about them shoehorning shit in on this show. There was a HIPAA reference. Do you think that was because of the CM Punk thing?
Of course it was.
There was a Pusha T reference. I can kind of appreciate just bringing him up because, I mean, he did get away with verbal murder.
Yeah, there's one of my favorite things about going back on the network and watching old random Raws from the 90s is because you know that Vince and Lawler are good for like 2 or 3 really obscure pop culture and political references from like whatever's happening.
Shit about Bosnia on some of those.
Whatever's happening in the 3rd week of May 1995. Like, it's a time capsule from then.
Yeah.
Just to listen to those guys banter about what's going on Capitol Hill. Like, it's just...
They'll talk about something that is so obscure now, but was hot for like a day back then.
Absolutely.
Be like, man, Kyle Petty did this. And I'm like, man, Kyle Petty? Didn't he drive the Mellow Yellow car? I'm pretty sure our friends at PWU would be able to tell us, but
yeah.
Man. Also, there was one other one that I can't really remember, but they threw in another reference as well. But
yeah,
at least they brought up Pusha T. Oh, here it was. It was the burner account jokes.
Yep.
That's what it was, the Jerry Colangelo stuff. So this is the night that wrestling died, XXVIII.
Yeah.
Lashley wants to face off with Sami Zayn, but he is in the crowd instead. Zayn says that he couldn't cook the organic tofu steaks he wanted. I love that line.
Yeah, that's a very self-aware Sami Zayn reference.
Now, here's the thing. I don't know if Sami Zayn came up with that line or if Vince McMahon said, only a goddamn heel would eat organic tofu steaks.
Yeah, or a lib, a dirty
Ambien
lib
reference. That was the other one too.
Oh yeah,
Ambien reference.
Yeah,
to John Cone, who apparently said racist stuff during the match. Since that's the gravity of the Ambien joke,
right.
But I'm pretty sure he didn't.
Yeah, no, he did not.
Since he gave a team with 2 black girls and a Hispanic girl the win over 3 white girls, so I'm pretty sure he didn't take some Ambien and do some racist shit in that match.
But Ambien actually, in reality,
John Cone hates white people. That's what it is.
That's what it is. Ambien does make you make terrible decisions.
Oh
when
yeah.
You use it. One of those decisions usually isn't like make a non-racist person racist.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, there was a person, I didn't believe them, honestly, for all these years until I heard a lot of the stories. But she said that when she was on Ambien, she went to her fridge, got her jar of mayo, opened up her covers, lathered it in mayo, threw it back down, and went to sleep on the couch. A person thing, and she didn't tweet anything racist either, so there we go. There you go. But she did make a hell of a mayo sandwich.
Yeah, mayo sheet sandwich.
That would have been much more entertaining to watch than this Bobby Lashley Sami Zayn thing. Bobby Lashley is so goddamn dead in the water.
Yeah, oh my god, it's so bad.
I would have rather listened to them talk about mayo. I mean, I did find it more entertaining when they talked about tofu steaks. Makes fun of Bobby Lashley's inspirational quotes in his fan club. Says that he has, Zayn admits he has anonymous accounts and burner accounts.
Basketball jokes.
Yeah. Sami Zayn says that Lashley makes everything up, including his army service, and he has gone too far.
He crossed a line, damn it. I love it. Here's the thing. Michael Cole at the end of this terrible segment says, I can assure you folks at home, Bobby Lashley did serve in our armed forces proudly. He's a member of oh, you're the authority on it, Michael Cole. Thank you. We trust you because you've said it. Now we believe
people
it.
Producing some of these segments.
Do
they speak to people? I mean, they have to speak with people outside of the scope of this show. They got to interact with people to relay the information. Is that how they sound? No. This sucks.
It was so bad. Like I was so excited for a Bobby Lashley, the TNA version of Bobby Lashley, to show up. And here's the thing. Here, think of it. Bobby Lashley shows up, and he interrupts a Braun Strowman match, and he comes down and he just pelts him in the face, and he says, "I was told when you show up at a new place, you find the biggest, baddest dude in the yard."
Because he always believed that in Impact.
Like that would have been so great if he actually said, "I'm not afraid of you, biggin. Let's go." Like that's a feud. If you make him that guy. Now, I don't want to see Bobby Lashley do anything with anybody. And I will also say, he was so much more fun with Sami as a heel when he was righteous versus Shane O'Mac. Like, he was in the right, and we were like, oh, Sami, you're so funny dancing weirdly to your own theme song. We like you a lot. Now it's like, I don't want to see Sami because that means I also have to see Bobby. Like, that's how bad this has gotten. Is you've made me not want to see one of my favorite performers in Sami Zayn on TV.
Bayley, who replaced Alexa Bliss, Sasha Banks, and Ember Moon, briefly defeated the Riott Squad when not racist John Cone allowed a weird series of events to happen. When I see main roster additions like Ember Moon and Ruby Riott, I wonder what the need to bring green wrestlers up with such regularity is. And I mean, I like Carmella as a character. She's good. Alexa Bliss has proven to be able to hold her own. Sarah Logan ain't ready. Liv Morgan isn't ready. Dana Brooke was never ready. I'm like, why did you all need Nia Jax? I think the main roster would have been fine all this time without Nia Jax. I'm sure she would have been up by now.
Yeah.
But I'm like, what was the need?
I think Carmella has improved drastically in the past year.
But she was super green when she came up.
Right. Absolutely. And I think that's the thing is that for some reason they're like, we want you to learn on the main roster, not learn in NXT. Like there's people who are like ready and past ready to get brought up. And then there are people who are like, oh, no, we're good. You're good. You know enough. Now come up here, flounder on TV, and learn the ropes on the road. And it's like, that doesn't serve anybody. Like, they'd be better off staying off NXT TV and learning all that stuff in matches at the Performance Center and doing the Florida loop, because this isn't working. Although I did see flashes from both Logan and Morgan in the match tonight with fun maneuvers. Morgan did something to Sasha in the corner that I really liked. The stomp
to that alley-oop and that skateboard stomp, essentially.
I like that a lot. Logan was really hard hitting. I like that
knee. She didn't follow up. There was no urgency after that knee.
No,
she just stood there. She's like, "Yeah, I did a cool move." Well, I'm like, why didn't you?
She was probably thinking about her uncle's taters farm, but I whatever. They're not ready. You're absolutely right. But I'm watching them and I'm going, if you actually use them right in NXT, meaning off TV for a while, and then actually found the right program for them to get involved in, okay, I could see that. But not here and not now. And I was also watching it going, hot damn, is Ember ever ready for this, for this stage? Like, I don't know. I don't think she'd be a very exciting money in the bank holder. So because I feel like she's such an over baby face, it's really hard for those guys to hold the briefcase. But I think she's going to be the unsung star of the match.
So Alexa Bliss says she pulls her hamstring early on. She leaves. I also noticed with that team, WWE really overdoes it with the fake hair colors. Ember Moon has this nice double chicken wing reversal where she just goes in between the ropes and Ruby cracks her face across the ropes. The Sasha Banks hot tag clotheslines on Liv Morgan were pathetic. Those were sad. The knees and kicks were good. Like you said, I liked Liv's comeback. Riott Squad essentially does the unicorn stampede. Things break down in the ring, and Banks hits this really cool double Meteora on, I think it's Riott and Logan. It looked really good. Bayley comes out. Her music even hits when she comes out and gets the tag, and Sasha without hesitation. So she's just as much to blame here.
Right.
Bayley gets the win, and I'm immediately thinking, get goddamn Constable Corbin out here because this can't happen.
Yeah, they actually say on commentary, well, if Kurt Angle sanctioned this and sent Bayley down as Bliss's replacement, then it's fine. I'm like, I don't think he did that, though. And then they show that he didn't, because he was like, well, but here's the other thing that I hated about this. Girls, I'm really sorry. I don't know how to break this to you, but your win doesn't count. And they're like, really? This win in this meaningless 6-woman tag match where you haven't established that, we're going to win more money or anything? Like, there's no stakes to this match at all, but they're really broken up about the losing it now. If you had established that if you win this match, you get, I don't know, something,
A bottle
they
of
lost this
OMG from omg.com would have been nice.
That would have been nice. Anything. A bonus. A bonus is good. A win bonus. And then they lost the bonus. I don't know.
I was very happy that Baron Corbin showed up backstage and he was like, this shit can't fly.
Nope.
Constable doing a good job. There's some terrible dialogue between the three winners.
Yeah.
Ember Moon is ready to party. That's what I gathered out of this.
Well, I guess it's because she's from Texas, so she knows all the cool joints
point.
or whatever. Maybe.
Yeah, she should have. That's what should have bothered her, is the fact that she came up in Houston as a wrestler, and this cost her the victory, but the story isn't for her. So
yeah. Nope.
Constable Corbin is scolding not racist John Cone backstage.
Yes.
Finn Balor defeated Kevin Owens via DQ. This was the most pointless match.
Entirely.
Not only that, but the content of it was pointless.
Yeah.
It got about 2 minutes in, and I said, oh, they're doing the headlock match tonight.
Yep.
And, I think Kevin Owens is masterful. I think the last year of Finn Balor has been the best work of his career, in my estimation, because you were here when I used to bitch about his offense every single week. It's not been that way for me for a long time. He's turned it around. Kevin Owens, however, bitches about the meaning of too sweet, and he was oddly fixated on it early in the match too. Like he was kicking Balor and screaming.
I think If we didn't know that he had just signed a really great deal with WWE, I think he's like auditioning for the next season of Being the Elite.
Yeah. So Tope con Hilo from Balor. There's an armbar applied. All right. Double foot stomp. Balor beats up Owens on the feet. The show had a good crowd, and they really weren't given what they deserved. Nobody thought that Balor was going to pin Owens after the Eye of the Hurricane, but
no.
Owens super kick. Balor counters a pop-up with a sling blade and his drop kick. And then Owens gets DQ'd for stomping a lot.
Stop trying to win so hard. If you don't stop trying to win so hard, I'm going to disqualify you.
Keep in mind, Bayley and her team got DQ'd, so that didn't count. The Braun Strowman match featured a weapon, kind of. He had the Donkey Kong through a ladder. Nia Jackson and Natalya was an injury finish. James Harden won via DQ. The first match of the night probably should have been a DQ. There was just it felt like WCW 2000 light. Some of the booking, but a little less convoluted. But after this, KO attacks Balor, frog splashes him, grabs a ladder, climbs it to emulate getting the briefcase. Why? I don't know.
Just because here's why. Video packages.
He should say that in a promo. Like, I just wanted some cool footage. That's it.
I just wanted to look cool in the pre-match video package.
That would be something off the cuff that he would say.
It would be great.
Like, Charlie's like, why did you do that? I have my reasons. So he goes to the top, not even the top of this ladder.
No.
And I thought he was falling at first. Yeah. So he sold it kind of well. But then he's afraid to jump. And then he gets down to about even with the top rope that he just jumped off of. Mm-hmm. And that's too much too. But Balor catches him, beats him up, coup de grace off the ladder. Whatever, man.
Here's the thing. Before this match or somewhere in the night, they're like, here's what's going on next week. We know that you saw tonight two different singles matches featuring the 4 men from Raw that will be in the Money in the Bank match. Next week, we're going to put them all in the match at the same time for a fatal 4-way that will show exactly nothing, but it will build momentum for Money in the Bank. Also next week, Nia Jax and Ronda Rousey come face to face like they did tonight and also last week and also the week before. So it's None of this is special. None of it. And I don't. This is why I hate when they're like, we have 5-6 weeks to build a pay-per-view, and in the next 2 weeks we're going to set all the matches, because then you just get this holding pattern crap.
Yeah, we've got 11 matches confirmed. By the way, guys, on FightfulSelect.com, I'm adding a new monthly. It'll be a little bit more of a brief show, but it's called If It Were a Work, If It Were a Shoot. And I will kind of employ the crossover method of Fightful, and I'll predict each match with the stipulation how it would work if a WWE card was a shoot, and how a UFC card would work if it were a work, who UFC would want to win based on storyline, charisma, how they look, what they can do, all that good stuff. It should be a fun time. I think I'm going to film that tonight or tomorrow. By the way, Curt Hawkins has pledged to end his streak against Baron Corbin, so at least there's a little bit of something there, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing. Is like, here's the deal. Leave it to WWE during Money in the Bank month to remind us just how seriously they take Baron Corbin. That he's the constable, he's the sheriff of Nottingham to Stephanie McMahon's Prince John, keeping Friar Tuck, Kurt Angle in line, yep. And that's his role now, not as a wrestler or a serious contender for any titles. That's what he does. And along with that, he's going to be the dude who loses to Curt Hawkins. That's what they're doing with this guy. A year removed from being pushed to the Money in the Bank briefcase. And he did. He did for standing up to the guy who it turns out was wrong about Daniel Bryan.
Guys, if you all want to help out Fightful, head over to Fightful. Just comment on a story, engage in conversation. I'm starting to join the live coverage and the live chats during Raw, SmackDown, some pay-per-views here and there. Of course, I'm working during those, so it can sometimes be difficult. But come over there, join our community, leave a comment on the forum, anything like that, or share our stories on Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff. I can't tell you how much word of mouth really helps Fightful. We are still very young. We are not even 2 years old yet. So engagement from you all is very, very important. Like us, leave us a thumbs up, subscribe. A little programming schedule for you. I did UFC Utica post-show on Friday. Shorty Torres won as a guy hit white noise and knocked himself out. That happened. Had the Weekender podcast. I'm filming the Q&A podcast for Fightful Select this week. Filming If It Were a Work, If It Were a Shoot. Filming a members-only podcast with sponsor-level tier member Alex Andreessen. Doing the Weekender podcast on Saturday. That will be for free, a free preview. But Tuesday, Holy Smokes MMA podcast. I'll be talking to Stephen Muehlhausen again after the closing arguments of CM Punk, Colt Cabana, and Chris Amon. The first edition of that is up on Fightful's YouTube and on the story over at FightfulWrestling.com. Wednesday, List and your boy. Big fight fallout. Jimmy might fire me. Jimmy might make me homeless. You never know. You never know. Post-SmackDown show, of course. And this Saturday night, UFC 225, CM Punk in action. When I tell you guys that is a loaded card, I mean it's a loaded card. Former UFC champion Rashad Evans is on the Fight Pass prelims. It's psycho. Alex, what do you have going on this week?
We'll see. Last week, threw together a little something on Hulkster, mixing up his dead and alive Jackass cast
brothers. Yeah.
So we'll see what craziness develops this week.
Guys, thank you all so much. Again, please visit FightfulWrestling.com. We are always adding new stories. Almost every single hour, we've got several stories up there. So please check it out. Maybe you only check out the podcasts. Go to FightfulWrestling.com. We're out.